Hello dears, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Oluchi. In this channel I share sewing tutorials and tips that you would like, so consider subscribing to my channel and hit the notification bell so that YouTube will notify you every time that I post a new video. But in today's tutorial I'm going to be teaching you how to make this structured gong sleeve. So if this sounds like something that you're going to be interested in learning, just keep watching. So here are some of the materials that I'll be needing for this. This is my fabric, of course, the leftover fabric from the gown. This is the paper, my pattern paper. This next is my pattern master, and this is my marker. This is my paper scissors, and here is my fabric scissors. This is the lining that I'm going to be working with, and this is my ogbonge tape. Guys, there's something that I did not mention, and that is that you'll be needing a fusible thick stay. For me, I went ahead to use a gum stay. I think many of us will know that I'm going to be showing you somewhere along the line in this video. You can go ahead and even use like a peplum stay or collar stay, whichever one that you prefer. So this is my pattern paper already laid on the table. So I'm going to be marking the length of my sleeve, the length of my sleeve, and I will rule that into a straight line, and also go ahead to mark my 1 inch for hemming on the down part, like my 1 inch hem allowance. The measurement that you need for this is a basic sleeve, so the measurement that you need for this is basically the length of your sleeve and the measurement of your armhole. For this kind of sleeve you don't need your round sleeve. It's totally not necessary when you're working with a sleeve like this. So here I'm marking my cap height. My cap height is 5 inches. If you do not know how to divide to get your cap height, you can go ahead to use the standard 4-inch cap height. I think that works for most people, or maybe everybody, I don't know. So I'm going to be on the cap height line, I'm going to be inserting my armhole measurement. So let's do a little calculation, guys. My armhole is 16 inches, okay? 16 inches. So 16 inches, I'm going to be dividing it by 2, because of course you should know that this paper is on fold, even though I didn't put this one on fold, but it's supposed to be on fold. Divided by 2, we have 8 inches. So that 8 inches is what you are going to, that's half of your armhole. That's what you're going to be inserting on your cap height line, okay? Using a straight ruler, you're going to, just like I'm doing, connect a slanted line from there to the tip of your sleeve. Then you're going to be finding the midpoint of this sleeve. You find the midpoint of your sleeve, and when you find that midpoint, you're going to be going up there by half of an inch. And then after you've done that, using a straight ruler, the next thing you're going to be doing is just to mark all the way straight to that point, and then you're going to use the curved part to mark the upper part of this sleeve that we are creating, okay? After you're done doing that, so next is just to add your allowance. I know you might be wondering, so why the lines inside? I actually drafted a basic sleeve, and I just figured that it's really not even necessary, so I just had to cut that side out to make the video even shorter. I added 3 inches for my extra allowance, and I'm measuring everything I have, and I'll bring all of that down. You do not need to minus anything, you don't need to add anything, just rule down in a straight line. All right. So once we are done doing that, I'm just going to go ahead to bring in my scissors and cut this out. I don't even I kind of don't know why I started to label this after I was done drafting my pattern, but well, yeah, it's still good. So as we're working, we know what we're doing. So if you have sharp edges like mine, just go ahead and blend it out. That's very important. So right now I'm going to bring in my scissors, and I will just cut this sleeve out. So once I was done doing that, the next I'm going to be doing is to bring another pattern paper, because we have to do some slash and spread, guys. So on the cap height line, I'm going to be marking that now. You are going to be cutting that open. That's going to be your first slash line, and then you're going to be creating another slash line. Now this slash line that we're creating is to add some is so that you add some puff to the upper part of your sleeve so that it's puffed and standing. Do you understand? It gives it, like, that's what takes this sleeve from a 0 to 100%. So I'm cutting through here, and you can see that even though I'm cutting, I'm not cutting through this. Do you understand? I'm cutting really very close to the end of my line. So here I placed it and I pinned it down. Once I was done doing that, I just went ahead to slash open this my slash line. I went ahead to spread it open. I went ahead to spread open my slash lines. There are no specific measurements that I used for this, guys, honestly, but later on I think I measured it and I saw that the spread that I used was 2 inches on each of the sides. So it means I actually added like an extra 4 inches spread, like fullness, to that part of my sleeve, you see. So as much as you want, you can spread as much as you want. There are no specific measurements. If you want it really so high, you can spread even more, but I think I'm okay with what I have. My paper was not really, I noticed when I spread it, my paper was not accommodating it, so I had to go ahead to just add another pattern paper there and pin it. So I kept using this until I got the curve, the actual curve that I really wanted. So you can just do the same, keep placing until you get the curve that you want to work with. So you can see that extra paper there. It's nothing really, it's just that this thing, it was not enough, so I had to add that. So guys, if you have not subscribed to my channel at this point, I think this is a great time for you to actually subscribe to my channel and also hit notification button so that you are notified every time I upload a video. So I got to that point, I saw that I didn't like the shape there. You can see I went ahead to just, you know, reshape it. I went ahead to just recurve it and I cut everything out. So this is what we have eventually. So you can see how that part has been lifted. All right, I'm trying to show you guys what this is going to look like on your body, but then I'll just bring in my fabric and then cut this out on my actual fabric and also go ahead to cut it on the lining. So let's leave the pleating for later. You get, guys? Okay, so here's my fabric. First I folded into half and I folded again. Do you understand? I did this because I wanted to get all of my sleeves at once. Like I wanted to get 2 of the sleeves all at once. Okay, so I placed this and I went ahead to pin it down. And once I was done doing that, I added allowance on my side, my sewing allowance on the side. Okay, so I'm cutting right now and you're going to see me add my sewing allowance on the side. So whatever sewing allowance you'll be using on the side, if it's 1 inch, if it's 0.75, if it's half inch, whatever you're using on the side, go ahead and just, you know, add that to what you are cutting, like on your fabric. So once I was done doing that, the next thing that I'm going to be doing now is to bring in my lining and do the same thing. Like I'm going to cut out the same thing. So you can see we have 2 sleeves here ready for our gong sleeve is actually coming together. Okay, so we have 2 sleeves here. I'm going to bring in my lining at this point and I'm just going to cut the same thing. So this time around, I'm no longer going to use the paper. I'm actually going to use the material, my original sleeve, because guys, you know that I already added an allowance to it. So the paper now is smaller. Do you understand? I hope you guys are catching up. So here, I'll just cut this out. The moment I'm done doing this now, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to cut out 1 inch from my lining. See guys, that 1 inch that we added for the hem, so we're going to be cutting it out on our lining. All right, I do not like to use colored chalk on white fabrics or anything close to white. Okay, anything in the white class, so that's why I'm using white. But I'm going to bring the pattern and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this is what I'm talking about. That 1 inch that you added for the hem, please go ahead and cut it out on your lining. Now the reason you're doing this is because you don't want, after you are done sewing, your lining is poking out from your sleeve. Okay, you want the lining to be shorter so that by the time you are done sewing, your lining doesn't poke out. Everything just sits pretty. Everything just sits pretty. So I am going to go ahead and iron my stay on this. Let me show you guys the stay that I use for this. For some of you who are already conversant with sewing, I'm sure you recognize this stay. This is a gum stay. By the time I was making this tutorial, I did not even realize that I did not have this at hand. I didn't have it handy. So I just, thank goodness I had some pieces like leftovers. So that was what I used. You know, it has a gummy part. This shiny part has gum. The other part does not. So the part that has gum is where you're going to be placing. And please, guys, your whatever that you've chosen to structure this sleeve, make sure that you are putting it on your lining, not on your fabric. Even if you must add anything to your fabric, let it be a hasty. Do you understand? Okay, so here I've gone ahead to finish that up. And if you look well, I didn't really remember to show this in the video. You're going to see that at the very edge, I did not add my stay up till that point because I still need that. I don't want that place thick when I'm sewing. I need it light. Do you understand? Just watch the video, you see what I'm saying. So I'm now going to go ahead to join all of these. I put them together and I will, you know, join it. So I did the same thing for all 4 of my stuffs, both my lining and my material. So I went ahead to I joined all 4 using, I think I added half inch. So using that half inch that I had added while I was drafting, that's what I used to just put them together and sew. So once I was done doing that, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to merge this lining to fabric. So this is my fabric. I have laid it with the front side facing out. All right, the right side of the fabric facing out, this one the left side facing out, and I will tuck this into it so that the right sides of each of them are facing each other. You can see what I did here. So now I'm going to go ahead to just open this. You have to match the lines, the underarm seam lines. You have to match them, and then I'm going ahead to pin it. You can go ahead, once I was done pinning, I'll just go ahead to just sew this all the way around. You can go ahead and pin this all the way around first of all before you start sewing if you cannot handle working with it like this. But I think the point I pinned already is good for me, so I just pinned only that point, and then I went ahead to just sew this all the way around. Okay, guys. Oh, oh my goodness. I actually wanted to start. I was singing here. I even wanted to start singing as I'm making this voiceover, but I beg, you know, I'm a chorister, so it's our thing. We're always singing. Okay, so this is what we're done sewing. So this is what it looks like. I'm flipping it over. You can see what it looks like here. So once I'm done, you can see what it looks like. So I'm just going to tuck in my lining. I'll tuck my lining into the original fabric, like original sleeve, you get. So I'll tuck my line. You can see it's already you can see you can feel the structure already. So I'll tuck it in and I will match them. I'm going to match them. You see what it looks like. Look at what we have. Can you see how neat it looks? Because you don't want your arm, actually you don't want your seam allowance. You know, it's a free sleeve. You don't want to raise your hand and you have your seam allowance everywhere. At least let it be inside. So here I'm trying to match the 2 underarm seam on my sleeves. I'm trying to match them up. You can go ahead and use your iron to open press this very well, or you can just do like I'm doing here. I'm using my hand to just like open it and sew. Okay, so I went ahead to sew that all the way around. Like I said, if you cannot work with this like this, please make sure you go ahead and just pin everything all the way around before you even start sewing. But I think I can handle it, so that's why I did not really use pin. I just put pin on only that point. So see what it already looks like, what the sleeve already looks like. So here I've brought in my gown, and what I'm going to do is to measure my armhole. This is my already sewn gown. Of course, by now you should already have something where you want to add this sleeve to. Yes, so I'm just going to measure around to see what I have on my armhole. I measured all the way around, and I think I got 18. Yeah, I got 18 and a half. Okay, I got 18 and a half, and I'll be dividing that 18 and a half into 2 places. Just watch what I'm doing. I divided it into 2 places, and I marked it on this on my sleeve. Okay, so I placed my sleeve. I marked out my 18 and a half divided by 2. That gave me 9.25. So here I'm going to just notch the center part. That's very important. You want to actually notch your center part. Very, very important. So I'm going to be measuring from the end of my sleeve, like the seam allowance, up to until I get my 9.25, and I'm also going to notch it again. Now that part is the part that I'm not going to, where I have measured now is the part that I'm using for the armhole. The other parts of it, I am going to be pleating it. So I'm going to be pleating from this very end of the notch to the other side of my notch. Okay guys, I'm going to be pleating from that side to this side. I wanted to fast track this side, and I'm like, no, let me just leave it, okay, so that you guys can see that it's not actually a walk in the park to pleat this together. Okay, you see that it's a little bit of a struggle, right? You can see, you see what I'm doing here. That's why I didn't put it on, so that when you're doing your own and you experience things like this, you're not going to be like, ah, but it was so easy for her. No, I actually had to, I put in the work. Okay, so here I kept pleating until I pleated until I got to the other side of this sleeve. All right, so in order to also make this easy for you, I'm going to advise you guys, I'm going to advise that whatever hard stay that you're using to structure this, please, that line where you're going to, that armhole line around it, please just not don't add it up to that point. Just leave out like half inch on top. Do you understand? So that when you're doing this kind of thing and also sewing into your fabric, you don't encounter any form of struggle. I kind of encountered struggle because mine really got to the very end. Do you get what I'm saying? So guys, look at this sleeve. Just look at what we have here, looking so so now I'm actually measuring the round armhole to see what I have. So what I have, instead of 18.5, I have 19 inches, and it's so easy to actually just pleat one side of this and complete it. So I did that. I did the pleating directly on the fabric, okay, to complete. I mean, half inch is not such a big deal to complete it into the 18.5 that we need for this. Okay, just look at that sleeve. It's already standing on its own. So here I am matching the two underarm seams together, the underarm seam of my dress and the underarm seam of my sleeve. So I'm matching them together, and once I was done doing that, I'll just flip this over, sew all the way around, and you guys will just see what this looks like. Like, this is super. Just take your time, take it easy. It's, you know, sewing this kind of sleeves is not that easy, okay, so take it easy. So here is the outcome of our sleeve, guys. How did I do? This sleeve is super beautiful. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and do that right now, please, and share my videos. That helps to encourage me, okay, to do more. All right guys, so thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate. Please share this video, talk about this video, like, comment, whatever you can do to just encourage me to keep doing this and posting. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.